Good evening and thank you for joining us on India Business Hour. I'm Parikshit Luthra and here are the headlines we are tracking. ICICI Bank delivers a stellar Q4. Net interest margins at an all-time high. 40% net interest income growth is the best in at least 8 years. The bank management says that there would probably be a downward bias on margins going forward, but says it is normal in the overall scheme of things. Indian Bank's incremental loan growth in FY23 is the best in a fiscal. The credit deposit ratio, an indicator of how much banks lend out of deposits it mobilized, reached a 15-year high of 113%. Higher demand and price hikes fuel Coca-Cola. March quarter earnings beat street expectations. Net sales rise 5% to nearly $11 billion. Air India and Akasa Air's fleet expansion plans likely to be hit after Boeing detects manufacturing issues with its 737 MAX planes. Tells CNBC-TV18 that a significant number of undelivered planes will undergo replacement. No word on revised delivery timelines. Reports say MG Motor India is in advanced talks with JSW Group for a 15 to 20% stake sale. Sajjad Jindal had told CNBC-TV18 in Davos this January that they were contemplating re-entering the electric mobility space and was looking at manufacturing high-quality electric cars. Anil Agarwal-led Vedanta Resources says it has paid all maturing loans and bonds due for April, adds that the payment will reduce its gross debt by an additional $1 billion to $6.8 billion. Reports suggest that the taxman has sent show-cause notices to Bajaj Allianz and ICICI Prudential for allegedly evading taxes. The notices are a part of a wider probe spanning 16 insurers and tax evasion of about 14,000 crores. ICICI Prudential has confirmed receiving the notice. Bar Council of India urges the Supreme Court to leave the issue of same-sex marriage to the Parliament, highlights that legislatures are truly reflective of the will of the people. The Bar Council says that marriage has been typically categorized as a union of biological man and woman, adds it would be catastrophic to overhaul something so fundamental through judicial processes. Tamil Nadu introduces special license for serving alcohol in marriage halls, stadiums and house functions. So far, licenses were limited only to clubs and star hotels. A permit for serving alcohol at a house function in an area within a municipality would cost around 11,000 rupees. Top wrestlers moved the Supreme Court seeking registration of FIR against Federation President and BJP MP Brij Bhushan Singh over sexual harassment allegations. The athletes had called off their protests in January after assurances but claim no action has been taken against the Wrestling Federation chief yet. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar tweets that the operation to evacuate citizens from battle-torn Sudan is underway, adds that about 500 Indians have reached Port Sudan. The rescue mission has been named Operation Kaveri. Some Indian nationals have been evacuated by the French rescue mission. And Dalal Street starts the week on a firm footing. Nifty and Sensex gain over 0.5%. Financials led the market higher, with ICICI Bank being the top contributor. Nifty Bank soared over 1%. Mid-caps underperformed the blue chips. PSE companies gained a market cap of 1.4 lakh crore rupees, the highest level in 2 months. And big earnings back home. ICICI Bank delivered a stellar Q4, posting record net interest margins. The bank also clocked around 30% year-on-year jump in net profit. Further, the bank's gross NPA also improved for the quarter. Ritu Singh joins us with the bank's earning report card.
Well, thanks for that. Nothing short of a stellar quarter from ICICI Bank, the highest ever quarterly profit that the bank has reported in its history in the fourth quarter at 9,121 crores, which was up 30% year-on-year on the back of strong growth in business momentum. But that apart, the bank has been outperforming its larger peer, HDFC Bank, on various parameters like your margins or the return on assets. In the fourth quarter, the net interest margin for ICICI Bank stood at 4.9%. 9%, with domestic margins at about 5%. This is the highest ever margin that the bank has ever reported, higher than its peer HDFC Bank as well. Net interest income growth was the best in the last 8 years, at the very least, up about 40% over the previous year. This is on the back of a good growth in the loans, which had a strong momentum again. Advances growth of about 18.7%. Where there was a bit of a blip was the deposit growth, about 11% over the previous year. This has been lagging HDFC Bank, and something we questioned the management about as well during their earnings con call. Asset quality also saw an improvement in the fourth quarter. Gross NPA also coming down to the lowest that we've seen in the last 8 years. Net NPA also improving in the quarter. Now, when we asked the management about the deposit growth, they said it is nothing to worry about. They're comfortable with the current growth, and they're going to focus on their branch expansion strategy as well to garner more deposits. On the margins, which have been very high because of the rising interest rate trajectory, there is an indication that there could be some downward bias, but that is the normal course of thing. It is not just ICICI Bank. You will expect a downward pressure on the margins of other banks as well, as interest rates are peaking or are near peak as we speak.
Thanks very much, Ritu, for joining us. And staying with earnings, Yes Bank reported a mixed bag this quarter. The bank's net interest income beat street estimates and net income margin touched a 9-quarter high. However, net profit missed expectations significantly and slipped nearly 45% year-on-year. The results were also marked by deteriorating asset quality, poor return ratios, and loss in market share. IndusInd Bank also reported a mixed set of numbers in the fourth quarter. Net interest income missed street expectations, while net profit came in line. However, on the asset quality front, both gross and net income declined sequentially. In a while from now, we will tell you why banks' incremental loan growth in FY23 is the best in a fiscal year and what it means for the banking sector now. Moving on, CocaCola's March quarter revenue beat Wall Street expectations, driven by price hikes and high demand for its beverages. The overall revenue rose by 5% year-on-year to nearly $11 billion, while organic revenue grew by 12%. Demand remained strong in Latin America and the Asia-Pacific region. Onto a Network 18 exclusive now. GST collections for April are likely to hit new highs. Sources say that a record 9 crore e-way bills were generated in March as a result of stricter compliance norms. In March last year, around 7.8 crore e-way bills were generated, resulting in over 1.67 lakh crore in GST collection in April. Onto the aviation space now. Sources say the expansion plans of Air India and Akasa are likely to be impacted due to a potential delay in deliveries of 737 MAX aircraft. Boeing has detected a manufacturing issue with the plane and is replacing the fittings where necessary. It also confirmed that a significant number of undelivered 737 MAX airplanes are to be affected. Madhiya Mujawar joins us now with more. Madhiya, what exactly is the issue with the plane and what impact can be expected on the expansion of the airlines?
Well, clearly not a good news for those airlines who had designed their expansion plans based on the timeline of the delivery of the new planes. I'll first talk about the impact this issue is expected to have on Indian airlines. Boeing 737 MAX is quite a popular narrow-body plane. Air India's mega order that the airline had placed early this year included 190 737 MAX planes. Some of these planes were expected to be delivered by the end of this year. Then Akasa Air, India's youngest airline, was expecting deliveries of some of the 53 pending MAX planes this year. Akasa had earlier said it will fly international by the end of 2023. But now these plans could change as the deliveries are likely to be delayed. Boeing said it has detected a manufacturing issue with the plane. So what exactly is this manufacturing issue? Boeing says that a supplier has used non-conforming fittings in the AFT fuselage section, which need to be replaced. Now, the planes which are already in service won't be impacted, as Boeing says it's not an immediate flight safety issue. But those which are in production stage or already in storage will undergo replacement, and that will take a lot of time. While Boeing hasn't specified the duration of the delay, it said customers have been informed that the glitch is likely to affect a significant number of undelivered 737 MAX planes. We reached out to both Air India and Akasa Air asking if they have received any revised delivery timeline from Boeing, but they're yet to respond to our query.
Thanks very much, Madhya, for joining us and keeping a track of that big story. Let's move on and get you a story from the auto sector now. Reports say that the MG Motor Company is in advanced talks with JSW Group for a stake sale. According to reports, MG Motor is looking to raise about 3,000 crore rupees by offloading a 15 to 20% stake. The company, however, refused to comment, saying that the report is speculative. A JSW spokesperson has declined to comment. However, if the deal goes through, it would mark JSW's entry into the automotive sector. In fact, in a conversation with Shireen Bhan at the World Economic Forum in Davos, JSW chairman Sajjan Jindal said that the company is actively considering manufacturing a high-quality electric car.
I believe that EV is the wave of the future for mobility, and you know, I gave up at that time thinking that all the auto majors would go in a big way in the EV, but you know, I realized that after 4 years of giving up the EV segment or giving up the idea of going into the EV, not much has happened in India. So therefore, I'm kind of contemplating to re-enter that phase.
Two-wheelers or cars?
No, it'll be a car, very high-quality car, because India, we don't have a high-quality EV right now.
Back on the table as an active consideration.
As of now, yes.
By when do you hope to finalize? Yes or no?
No, yes and no, I think next 3 months.
Okay, so if it goes through and you sign off on it, what is it going to mean in terms of ballpark investments? You said that you don't need necessarily a partner, but would it make sense to have a partner on board? Is that something that you may want to reconsider?
Not really. We have thought about it, and now the technology is readily available, so there is really no need to bring in any partner. And what I want to do is to bring in a product where we Indians can feel proud of, and we would like to export that product out of India to European market and to the most developed market, auto market in the world.
All right, so let's see if these talks between MG Motor and JSW actually go through or not in the days to come. Moving on, Vedanta has said it has paid all its maturing bonds and loans due for April. The mining major has said that the payment will reduce its gross debt by a further $1 billion. The company has highlighted that it has achieved 75% of its committed reduction since February 22, when it announced its deleveraging exercise. It has been a stellar FY23 for Indian banks as far as incremental loan growth goes, with a credit deposit ratio of 113%. Incremental loan growth is the best this fiscal. Have banks reached the peak on the margins front? Abhishek Kothari gets us more.
Well, incremental business momentum for the banking sector in FY23 has been the best ever, with incremental deposit momentum of 15.8 lakh crore and incremental loan growth of about 17.8 lakh crore. Hence, the incremental credit deposit ratio or the CD ratio for the banking sector was at 113%, which is the highest in last 15 years. In a rising interest rate scenario, an increase in CD ratio augurs well for lenders, given the fact that it will help the net interest margin remain on the healthier side or not fall sharply. However, one can expect the net interest margin of lenders to decline from Q1 FY24 results onwards. This will be due to the fact that the rise in cost of funds for lenders will start kicking in, as maximum hike on the lending side is already done or has taken place. Banking sector has ended FY23 with total deposits of 180.44 lakh crore and total loans of about 136.75 lakh crore. The credit deposit ratio for the sector for FY23 is the best in last 3 years, coming in at 75.8% when compared to 72.2% in the previous year. Now, deposit data shows that on an incremental basis, the growth in demand deposit is the lowest or slowest in last 3 years, while the incremental term deposit growth in a fiscal is perhaps the best ever that you have seen. Also, kindly note that some of the low-cost deposits may have moved to high-cost term deposit due to rise in interest rates that we saw in FY23. Now, sectoral data as of Feb 2023 shows that personal loan has been the big driver of loan growth in FY23. So as of Feb 2023, incremental loan growth has been about 15.6 lakh crore. A breakup shows that incremental loan growth has been driven by personal loans, which formed about 40.2% of the incremental loan growth. Services formed about 32.5%, agriculture about 12.5%, industry close to 9%, while food credit actually saw a decline nearly by 19,700 crores or about 1.3% year to date in Feb 2023 so far. Now, the loan breakup for the industry as of Feb 23 shows that personal loans formed about 29.8% of the loans, services formed about 26.2%, agriculture nearly about 24.5%, industry about 12.3%, food credit nearly 7%, and others about 0.26%. So in terms of outlook, the loan growth may slow down going ahead. Higher repayments of principal amount in the EMI can also lead to slowdown in the loan growth rate. Inflation, that can also hurt the loan growth for the banking sector in coming quarters. However, the key to watch will be the deposit momentum. The war has already started on deposit rates, especially by HDFC Bank, which is offering one of the highest term deposit rates amongst large peers. Now, private banks have gone back to branch expansion in order to grow their balance sheet. PSU banks, many have seen their balance sheet grow due to the foreign book as well. So with slowdown in global economy, we will need to watch out for the performance of overseas book for some of these PSU banks.
All right. Thanks very much, Abhishek, for joining us. We're going to take a short break now, but coming up, Bar Council of India urges the Supreme Court to leave the issue of same-sex marriage to Parliament. Details when we are back.
Let's you and me step out and see how blue the sky, how tall the trees.
I can be completely carefree and sip my hot cup of tea. It really works.
Let's you and me step out and see how blue the sky, how tall the trees.
Skoda brings you Kushaq and Slavia, India's safest family cars.
Hello, welcome to India Business Hour. The Bar Council of India has passed a resolution urging the Supreme Court to leave the issue of same-sex marriages to the legislature. The resolution comes at a time when the Supreme Court is in the midst of hearing pleas seeking legal sanctity for same-sex marriages. Ashmit Kumar joins us. Ashmit, how are you reading the resolution from the Bar Council? Also, the matter couldn't be heard as one of the judges has tested positive for COVID-19.
Indeed, the matter was supposed to be taken up. Why it wasn't, we'll come to that in just a bit. But as far as the Bar Council itself is concerned, they came out with a resolution, a strongly worded resolution, where they claimed that there is a significant amount of anxiety and concern within the bar, within the lawyer community on the matter as to why. Well, they answered by saying that this is an issue that directly impacts the socio-cultural norms, the religious beliefs, and towards that end, that is an issue that should be left to the wisdom of the legislatures. They say that legislatures are the one that are accountable to the people. Legislatures are the one that reflect the will of the people, and they should be the one deliberating on the matter. The Supreme Court simply has no business entertaining matters of this nature, and further goes on to say that as far as the will of the people is concerned, they've quoted an unsubstantiated figure saying that 99.8% of the people oppose same-sex marriage. Have not given a footnote as to where that figure comes from. Nonetheless, they further go on to say that the Supreme Court decision, as far as this particular issue is concerned, will have far-reaching implications even for future generations, could prove to be catastrophic. Go on to say that historically, since human civilization, we've only seen marriages being recognized between biological males and biological females. Further go on to suggest that this could also have implications in terms of future generations and how the children were to be raised. There is significant amount of concern within what they say is the parent community of informed citizens, and further says that this is something that the Supreme Court, if it were to pass a decision, it will be seen as something that is against Indian culture, and finally conclude by saying that this is quote-unquote a social experiment being engineered by a select few. Now, coming to the hearing itself, the hearing was scheduled to take place today, but what we're given to understand that at least 2 out of the 5 judges on this bench hearing the same-sex matter have in fact been indisposed on account of infection with COVID. So that is what we're picking up as far as the same-sex marriage hearing in Supreme Court is concerned.
All right. Thank you very much, Ashmit, for joining us. Let's shift our focus to the curious case of Twitter blue ticks. Elon Musk-owned Twitter has been restoring the blue ticks for a few celebrities who have over 1 million followers. Curiously, there are some celebrities that are yet to get it back. CNBC-TV18's Aishwarya Anand joins us now with the latest on the blue tick confusion.
That's right. Confusion surrounding Twitter's blue tick subscription policy continued over the weekend after a number of high-profile accounts saw their blue ticks reinstated. Beyoncé, Harry Kane, Richard Osman and Victoria Beckham are among those who got their blue tick back. In India, legacy-verified account holders such as Alia Bhatt, Virat Kohli, Shah Rukh Khan and others too got their blue tick back. However, some celebrities who have received the blue tick back have confirmed that they did not pay for it. These include Twitch streamer Hassan Piker, journalist and author Kara Swisher, former J&K Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, among others. Now, it is being speculated that the label was automatically provided to accounts that cleared 1 million subscribers. Twitter has not clarified that policy yet, but there appear to be key exceptions. Profiles of stars like actor Ryan Reynolds still is missing a blue tick he once held despite having more than 21 million followers. Chrissy Teigen, with 12.8 million followers, also doesn't have the blue tick when we checked last. Among organizations, curiously, Tesla too doesn't have a blue tick. Travis Brown, a Berlin-based software developer who is tracking these subscriptions, has tweeted that he found 110 accounts with more than 1 million followers that are not marked as blue subscribers, out of a total of 9,884. He also tweeted that as of April 23, he has recorded a net increase of 12,000 accounts, which is about a third of the previous week, and largely accounted by Musk's decision to gift thousands of subscriptions. Meanwhile, here's an update of a new feature that's appeared on Twitter. On some of Elon Musk's replies, you will notice a new tag of subscriber. On further investigation, we found that this new feature is for content creators to help them make money from the content they post on the platform. When someone has a subscription offering, their followers can sign up to access bonus tweets created specially for them, explains the policy. The feature is now available only in the US, Canada, New Zealand and Australia.
All right. Thank you very much, Aishwarya, for joining us. Let's shift focus to politics now. The state of Karnataka, with its 224 assembly seats, goes to polls on the 10th of May. This is a prestige battle for the BJP, which holds power in the state, and a battle for survival for the Congress party, which is hoping to wrest control of the battleground. But it isn't just a BJP versus Congress battle. It's a three-cornered contest where former Prime Minister H.D. Devegowda's JDS could play the role of a kingmaker. Akriti Anand tells you what's at stake in this election.
It is the big semi-final of the year. Ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha polls, Karnataka will be the first big litmus test for the BJP and the Congress.
ये कांग्रेस के लोगों को पता नहीं कि कर्नाटका के लोगों ने संकल्प ले लिया है। अगर उनका संकल्प है मोदी तेरी कब्र खुलेगी, तो कर्नाटका का सपना है मोदी तेरा कमल खिलेगा।
दुख की बात है कि आज हिंदुस्तान के लोकतंत्र पर बीजेपी और आरएसएस के लोग आक्रमण कर रहे हैं, हिंसा फैला रहे हैं, नफरत फैला रहे हैं और देश का पूरा धन चुने हुए लोगों के हाथ कर रहे हैं।
For the BJP, Karnataka is a prestige battle. The Prime Minister has inaugurated projects worth over 18,000 crores in the state in the last few weeks, and retaining the state is bound to be a challenge. The Lingayat vote will be a critical factor. The BJP, which has always positioned itself as the custodian of the Lingayats, suffered setbacks with former CM Jagadish Shettar and former Deputy CM Lakshman Savadi quitting the party to join the Congress. This after the two Lingayat leaders were denied tickets. Former CM Yediyurappa has said that despite setbacks, the BJP will make a comeback.
I think we are going to get absolute majority and we are going to form the government.
Experts say the exit of Shettar and Savadi does provide an opportunity for the Congress.
Jagdish Shettar claimed at least 25 seats would be affected by his leaving the party. The Congress party itself feels confident of getting 30 more seats as a result. So let's cut it by half, 15, which is still a big number.
The BJP has fielded over 50 new faces to beat opposition's charges of corruption and anti-incumbency. The Congress, meanwhile, needs a morale booster. The Grand Old Party is in majority in 3 states and need more electoral win ahead of general elections. The Congress is facing factionalism with power tussle between Siddaramaiah and DK Shiv Kumar. For winning the Karnataka elections, it is important for a political party to not only have the support of key caste groups, but also that of all subcastes of ST, SC, OBCs and Muslims in the state. And it is not just about BJP versus Congress. The JDS under H.D. Kumaraswamy has set for itself a Mission 123 target. Since 1999, when the JDS was first formed, the party has come into coalition twice, and in 2018, it was the kingmaker. This time too, the performance of JDS is a factor to look out for. In New Delhi, Akriti Anand, CNBC-TV18.
All right, so let's see what happens on the 10th of May when the state of Karnataka goes to polls. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you for watching. News continues right here on CNBC-TV18.